Ooh, yeah, that is some soul glow.
Just let your soul glow.
Just let it shine. The film that we are going to next, my friends, is pretty freaking awesome. We are talking about Zabat Signers, starring Michael B. Jordan. But no, for real, Sinners, my goodness, directed by Ryan Coogler, who is of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Creed, and Fruitvale Station.
What?
What did we just watch? My goodness. Sinners, friends, is potentially one of the greatest films of 2025. I would really go up to say it's up there as the greatest films of the last decade. My goodness. And we were lucky enough to see this in theaters. I say lucky because where we live, it's a tiny little theater. So, according to Google, Sinners' summary is as such. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their Mississippi hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Again, Google, like, I know these are summaries, but like,
Bruh.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a hook. Yeah, it's a hook. Boy, does that not cover anything that happens in Sinners. Definitely, they say it is a horror genre, but I'll talk about this a little later. Horror can do some things. Horror can really do the substantial things as far as for commentary and societal craziness and all that shit. I can say this from the jump. Sinners stuck with me and my partner for a while. Sinners is not only a fantastic movie, I would say it's high-key important. Why? Okay, so Mr. Ryan Coogler, from what I understand, I believe he shot this on IMAX film, and it's a it is a big ass strip of film. It looks like, the film looks like a big ass cowboy belt. Just like this thick old, like, where's my belt? And there's my belt, and there's my little jewel thing in front of it. That's what it is. And the reason why that's important is because then you can get like a crazy, you can get crazy types of ratios inside the film, so you can sort of either crop or composite your shot to look like specific types of thing. Like it's a really interesting way. If you're ever curious, my man talks about it on the Kodak sort of film channel on YouTube. And it's just a way you can just definitely manipulate and how you can composite a shot and compose just like so many people have said, like every frame is a painting, every frame is a picture that is to be instilled into your brain and your soul and stick with you to tell the story. Sinners sing a lot of beautiful single take shots. My man was really trying to get like the full feel of I believe it was to take place in like mid 1930s, 1934 if I'm not mistaken, Mississippi, Jim Crow, the cotton field, like the oh my goodness, I forgot the word. Like the work disparity between the people who are still there, but they're free. Technically, it's a whole thing. But Michael B. Jordan,
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Michael B. Jordan gets me a little verklempt. I'm so sorry. I'm just a little verklempt.
Just beautifully shot, the composition, that everything goes. You either have like grand scale to show like this particular part of the country, or you have like really awesome ways to like make it very intimate and very timely. This movie is a little sweaty, and this movie is just a whole lot of sexy. And I don't mean like sexy like a chill kind of sexy, like, ooh, that's sexy. Nope. This movie is raunchy. Yeah, this movie has a lot of raunch. We're like peas in the pods, the three of us. Let's face it, you like raunchy, I like raunchy, everybody loves raunchy. This movie, and that's definitely, you can tell my man Coogler was playing with the vampire motif, very, very inspired of these traits that usually go with a little bit of classical and modern vampire lore. And I guess by modern you would say in the past 50 to 70 years. But yeah, the sex symbol of vampires, definitely there's some things going on in here. Not explicit, sort of. You can tell that my man was definitely influenced and just put in the right amount of like the spice of different things that you would associate with the vampire genre. Every single one of these performances was memorable, captivating, and impressive. I don't really honestly think there was a weak link in there. My man Michael B. Jordan is playing twins, and distinct enough, even though the distinctions were subtle. And that's also a tribute to the writing of Ryan Coogler. And I gotta see, did he, let me just take a quick glance. Did he write it by himself? Oh yeah. I'm sure he probably he might have had a little bit of help, some script doctoring or something, but no, apparently no, Ryan Coogler is the main credited writer for the movie. Awesome. Was able to write them just enough to be like definitely distinguished. You can just tell the actions, the more joyous nature of Stack versus the more aggressive and like hardened nature of Smoke, or if it's the other way around. Please forgive me. It's been a minute since I've seen the movie, but my man nails the thing, and he also lets them both breathe in the circumstances of what happens. And the two brothers, as much as they love each other, as much as they're with, they have very different sort of ideologies and life paths and just what have happened. So he nailed it. Ryan Coogler also happened to write something beautiful for the lovely Miss Haley Steinfeld, of being a woman who is, I believe she has black ancestry, but she's a white woman, and that disparity of not belonging is she nails that, and her southern lilt and like the attitude that comes with it, and the type of vulnerability of not vulnerability, but the type of, she's always just a little bit on some type of guard and falls into where she knows she can fall in, but then obviously it's just a different type of struggle that this particular person has. It's just like, and Mama does excellent. I believe we got Miles Canton as technically the lead, as Sammy. My man's voice is just awesome, because my man's a real musician and he plays it so well. Like there's this beautiful innocence to him that, don't worry, my man don't stay innocent during this movie, if you know what I'm saying. But there's beautiful innocence, and you can tell that the love of music, especially from him being a musician, just pours into that. Mama, who plays Annie, Miss Wunmi Mosaku, is just like, oh my god, just like the beautiful like storytelling. Like everybody is like, she just radiates that type of wisdom and a love interest, which is so freaking awesome to see. My goodness, everybody was just on fire. And a special shout out to my man who plays Remick as well, Jack O'Connell. Right. Omar Benson Miller, Jamie Lawson. But yeah, my man Remick, what an interesting antagonist. I don't even want to say villain necessarily. I mean, yes, villainous, but an antagonist more so than anything, of the vampire who messes with these guys trying to open up their juke joint. Yep. Can't say enough about I can talk about this movie for hours, friends. Like I really can. Let's get in the way of anything like that. So let's just real quick, we hit on the cracks, because my goodness, there's not many. If we're talking about booty cracks, this is a tiny little booty crack. There's not much osteoporosis. There's like in the bones, there's maybe a little bit of like some degeneration, maybe in the hips or the toes, in the knees maybe, but it's like so slight you don't even notice it. The one thing I kind of found was that like it did very much seem to change tones that could have been a little cleaner, and that's something that you catch if you're a little savvy. The tone, the change in what the movie was in the first half versus I'm gonna say the first 2/3 versus what happens in the last third is just like, oh my goodness, it's not drastic, it's just like, oh wow, this is happening, this is different. And don't get me wrong, they set it up and then it goes fast, and like I think that's probably one of the main things I like about the movie, is that like I wish there would have been just more of an expansion, because you see the influences that he has, but there's more of an expansion near the end, especially when all the craziness starts to happen with the vampires and all that stuff. A little longer, but it's so minor, and it's such like a little, like I said, like you don't really notice it unless you like let yourself notice it, because it doesn't really detract from the movie, and everything that needs to happen happens, and everything that you need to feel extraordinary while you watch the film happens. So yeah.
Hey, all you awesome goober folk. I paused the video to mention that there was one more tiny little osteoporosis / butt crack in the film that I definitely wanted to touch on. I wanted to make a mention that the specifics of the characterizations of the vampire lore was something that I thought could have been a little cleaner inside the movie, in regards to what happens after you're turned into a vampire, and how Remick being the original, how it affects the group, if they're affected by the group. There were some things that I felt that were just a little lost, because, especially at the end, because it was so fast and some things just didn't seem quite as clear. It left me asking questions at the end of the movie of, how was that supposed to go? What is that what was going on with the vampires? And that's how they're connected to Remick, and it's like a physical, maybe like an emotional thing. But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to mention that. So now back to your regularly scheduled craziness of a review done by this goofy person here, right there. Bam.
I have to give a special shout out to the music of the film. There's so much to give special shout outs to this film, but the music, my lord, and what they do for the existential, philosophical, and sort of metaphysical nature in music and what it means cross-culturally. And they don't even discriminate towards, like, you know, one culture bad, one culture good, white bad, white this. Like, no, they let it be known that music is that hyper powerful thing that breaks the veil of time. When you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But they really did a brilliant job of the mixing between the blues, folk music. Oh my goodness, it was just masterwork. Oh, another little butt crack is we get a visit from lovely indigenous people, and I kind of wish they came back. I believe it's the Choctaw. Yeah, I was right. Okay, the Choctaw Nation, like some people from the Choctaw Nation make their way, like the characters in the movie. I kind of wish they would have came back. I would have thought that was pretty cool, but that's just like, that's not even play. Just like, oh, that would have been cool to integrate them back somehow. Maybe they did. Who knows? Maybe in like a deleted scene or something like that. That would have been cool to see them come. But even their small part in the movie is kind of like, it's a good way to build some dread. As I said before, friends, what you can do with horror is extremely effective if you do it right at social, political, economic, psychological commentary. Like any type of commentary, horror has a very, very unique voice to it. And when your movie is this thoughtful and this sort of carefully crafted, and how you craft it to the parallels of something in the culture versus what happens, oh my goodness, it's magic. And it's one of those things where like it's like when you read a good book or when you see a good painting, have good food, you just like know you're something more is happening than just general, not necessarily bad, but you just know that there's more going on. If they greenlight a Sinners 2, and if they don't follow like the stories that you see from the cast of the first one, but if they followed like the Choctaw vampire hunters and they collabed on trying to do this thing, oh, that would be awesome. Let's go. I'm for it. I am so for it. The Choctaw, like exploring the Choctaw Nation and maybe even other indigenous cultures along with the black cultures that are dealing with like the vampires, and how even you probably have different types of vampires, not just Irish, the ones Irish born like Remick. It's crazy. So my friends, Sinners, I so far recommended all these things. I gave Sinners what did I put? Yep. Sinners by Ryan Coogler coming in so hot at a 9.4 out of 10 ice cream cones. Why ice cream cones? Well, you watch the movie and if you know, you'll know. Sinners was so good. That's fuck Ryan Coogler. God, I'm trying to like get by on mediocrity. Fuck, why can't I get by on mediocrity? Why can't I just do bullshit and then like be awesome and famous and rich and stuff? Why? Oh, I mean, I guess you could, but I couldn't. I don't, clearly.